Biafra, superstars, media.
Ladies and gentlemen, I present to you the Biafran golden child as he delve into the book of the one they call IBB, Babangida. In the book he just wrote, known as the so-called A Journey in Service. In this book he spoke that the so-called 1966 coup was a coup plotted in order to make AWOLOWO president. Today as we speak in that zoo republic, the argument is not about Boko Haram. The argument is not about ISWAP, ISIS, Lakorawa. The argument is not about Islamization of Nigeria. The argument is not about the Islamification of Nigeria. The argument is about if the coup of 1966 was an Igbo coup. As the saying goes, in the land of the blind, the one-eyed man is king. They've left all their problems and they are discussing something that happened in 1966. Something some military men did in 1966. Somehow, they put the blame on the Biafrans, on Igbo. They forgot that led to the war, the genocide of the Biafrans. They put the whole blame on the man they call Kaduna NZEOGWU. A man who was born in Kaduna, a man who grew up in Kaduna, a man who went to school in Kaduna, a man that joined the military of that so-called Nigeria in Kaduna. He was raised in Kaduna. He got married in Kaduna. He had his children in Kaduna. He was one of the best officers ranked in Kaduna. Hence, the indigenous of Kaduna, they gave him the nickname Kaduna NZEOGWU, to show you how they roll in Nigeria. When a man is doing good, they grab him as one of theirs. They celebrate him and crown him as one of their own. But today, in the advent of the coup, Britain told them the only way they can win around everyone in Nigeria is to blame the Igbos. Call the coup an Igbo coup and watch everybody fall into alignment. And ever since till today, that's been the plight of the Biafrans in Nigeria. As our PM used to say, our Prime Minister used to say this, Ekpa says, Nigeria is a place where elephant can fly. But we thank God. At a time like this, the one they call IBB, Maradona, number 10, Babangida has come out with a book where he's saying that the coup, the intentions of the coup plotters was to make AWOLOWO president. Let us sink in. Without any much further ado, I present to you the Biafran golden child. Let him take it from here and go in depth. If you are ready, I present to you once again the Biafran golden child. The real Biafran golden child. Thank you.
Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, depending on where you are in my voice from. This is the Biafra Superstars Media, and I'm happy, very happy, mighty happy, to communicate with us today. Yes, this weekend has been between Friday and over the weekend has been a very, very interesting one in Nigeria. I hope you are all abreast of what is happening. In case you don't know, the former military president, Ibrahim Badamasi Babangida, has launched his book, his memoirs, titled The Journey in Service. The Journey in Service. So The Journey in Service. He's launched his book, which comprises of his memoirs. Yes, and in that book, The Journey in Service, which was launched, you know, over the weekend, at Nikon Hilton Hotel, Abuja. That book and the expositions IBB has made has taken the whole of Nigeria by storm. It has taken over the social media. It has taken over the intelligentsia. It has taken over the mass media. It has taken over the news media in Nigeria. Everywhere is agog. Everybody is talking about it. Everybody is, those who have read it, those who have not read it, everybody is very much excited at the revelations that, the former military president has decided, to expose, at, this latter part of his life. Yes, my fellow Biafrans, how does this concern us? You might want to know, you might wonder, you might be asking, how does this concern the Biafran? How does it in any way affect the Biafran? Whatever IBB is writing, whatever Ibrahim Badamasi Babangida is writing about in his book, The Journey of Service, how does the journey in service, how does it affect the average Biafran man? How does it affect the Southeast? How does it affect the Igbo man? Just so that you don't continue to wonder, just so that you don't continue to worry your mind, just so you don't continue to be agitated about how and why it should concern the Biafran man. I want you to sit down, take a cup of coffee, and listen to me. Listen to me this morning, my dear brother and sister. Listen to me because it's going to be earth moving. It's going to be earth shaking. IBB has indeed created, an earthquake, an information earthquake in Nigeria. Yes, IBB in his just launched book, A Journey in Service, has made revelations. IBB has put to rest a whole lot of myths and fables and very, very erroneous, impressions and assumptions that has pervaded the Nigerian, historical analysis over the years. Yes, in case you don't know, Ibrahim Badamasi Babangida has finally put a nail to the coffin of, the general assumption in Nigeria that the 1966 coup was indeed an Igbo coup. IBB has nailed the coffin of all those people who assumed. Of course, this has been the general, postulations, manipulations, and generalizations, especially northern Nigeria, especially western Nigeria, and especially, Gowon and his government, of that time, everybody insinuating, concluding, and generally, you know, postulating that the 1966 January coup led by Kaduna NZEOGWU was an Igbo coup. The one has IBB, Ibrahim Badamasi, has finally put, yes, Ibrahim Badamasi Babangida has finally put to rest that conspiracy theory that the coup of 1966 led by Major Kaduna NZEOGWU was indeed an Igbo coup. In fact, IBB, as he's fondly called, has revealed finally that Major Kaduna NZEOGWU was more Aboki, more Hausa, more Aboki, more Northern than a Nyamani, than an Igbo man. IBB has revealed that Kaduna NZEOGWU behaved like a Hausa man, spoke like a Hausa man, dressed like a Hausa man, ate like a Hausa man, and even prayed like a Hausa man. And that he is only, Igbo by name, NZEOGWU. That everything about him was more Hausa than even, the Hausa man. He said the coup, the coup that, you know, was hatched, you know, at January 1966 was actually intended, not only to free Chief Babangida AWOLOWO from, jail, but equally install Chief Babangida AWOLOWO as the provisional, you know, president of Nigeria. Maybe you didn't hear that. No, no, no. I'm thinking you didn't hear that. In case you didn't hear me clearly, IBB, former military president Ibrahim Badamasi Babangida has revealed, very, very clearly, very, very distinctly that the coup of 1966 that was headed, championed, orchestrated by Major Kaduna NZEOGWU was actually aimed not only at, releasing Chief Obafemi Awolowo from prison, but equally installing him as a provisional president of Nigeria. And again, he revealed that Major Kaduna NZEOGWU was more Aboki, more Musa, more Hausa than an Igbo man. And he said Major Kaduna NZEOGWU was only Igbo by name. He spoke Hausa, he breathed Hausa, he ate Hausa, he dressed Hausa, and he was completely a Hausa man by his modus operandi, modus vivendi, and general orientation in life. Yes, IBB has revealed years that this coup, which was touted, generally, hailed as an Igbo coup, was indeed never an Igbo coup. And instead, it was an Igbo man that even fought to destabilize and make the coup unsuccessful. In case you don't believe that, then listen to this gentleman, none other than Chief Aloysius Ejimako, the lead counsel to Mazen Nnamdi Kanu. Yes, leader of the indigenous people of Biafra, IPOB. On Sunday, did you listen to him? In case you didn't, Chief Aloy Ejimakos, barrister, the lead counsel to Nnamdi Kanu, leader of the indigenous people of Biafra, IPOB, on Sunday said former military head of state Ibrahim Badamasi Babangida, IBB has confirmed that the 1966 military coup was not an Igbo coup, but a sort of resolution aimed at bringing Obafemi Awolowo to power. Ejimaka said those responsible were motivated by a satanic desire to trigger anti-Igbo ethnic tension on a national scale. He said IBB in his just launched book, A Journey in Service, showed that the main coup plotter, Kaduna NZEOGWU, was more Aboki than an Igbo man. In the book, Babangida dismissed claims that the 1966 military takeover was an Igbo coup. He said the head of the 1966 coup, Kaduna NZEOGWU, spoke Hausa fluently and was more northern than Igbo. Reacting, Ejimako pointed out that Igbo officers were also killed during the coup carried out by NZEOGWU. In a statement they issued, Ejimako said, even as it is coming so late in the day, I must commend Babangida for revealing or confirming the following self-evident truths in his epic book, A Journey in Service. First, that the 1966 coup was not an Igbo coup, but somewhat of a revolution aimed at regime change and install. Yes, you know that the 1966 coup was not an Igbo coup, but somewhat of a revolution aimed at regime change and installing AWOLOWO as the provisional president of Nigeria. In other words, if it could be said, if it could be said that the coup was tactically or covertly geared towards fostering ethnic domination, it was going to be Yoruba domination, not Igbo domination. Still, whether Igbo domination or Yoruba domination, the counter coup was overtly geared towards northern or far northern domination. And worse, it midwifed a horrid blood lost and the total loss of compatriot spirit against the Igbo. Second, that those who purveyed the destructive lie that it was an Igbo coup were motivated by a satanic desire to trigger anti-Igbo ethnic tension on a national scale. In other words, a deliberate plot was hatched ahead of time to deploy the coup as a subterfuge to levy genocide against Igbo. Third, that NZEOGWU, having been born and raised in Kaduna, not only spoke Hausa fluently, but was more Hausa than Igbo in his mannerisms, values, worldview, and attitude. In other words, NZEOGWU was a confirmed Aboki, not an Yamani, no pun or disrespect intended. Fourth, that the ranks of the coup plotters and henchmen were vastly populated by officers who were not Igbo. This was the most obvious clue that belied the lies, but it never mattered anyway because the die was cast for the Igbo to pay. Fifth, that an Igbo officer, Anoforo, assassinated another Igbo officer, Unegbe, who rallied against the coup, and another Igbo officer, Obienu, played a key role in halting the coup. But when Obienu was later hounded and murdered by northern soldiers, it didn't matter to them that he had put his life on the line to foil the so-called Igbo coup. The only thing that mattered was that he was Igbo and therefore must die. Sixth, that the palpable tension between OJUKWU and Gowon stemmed from OJUKWU's altruistic insistence that the most senior officer, in bracket, a Yoruba top brass named Babafemi Ogundipe, should, should, in accordance with time-honored military traditions, be the next head of state after Iran's gruesome assassination in the counter coup. So as a matter of backward logical correlation, if the first coup was an Igbo coup driven by the ambition for Igbo domination, why would OJUKWU, an alpha male and the ultimate Igbo man, take the great risk of insisting that a Yoruba man should be the next head of state following the second coup? Very big question indeed. Very big question indeed. You know. Seventh, seventh, that OJUKWU declared Biafra because Gowon proved unwilling to protect the beleaguered and trapped Igbos In other words, Biafra was not an unlawful rebellion, but a bulwark against horrendous genocide or a last resort for self-preservation. To conclude, uh, Barrister Jimako went on, I decided to write this piece for two main reasons. First, I hope it will bring some closure or comfort to all Igbos of my generation who have borne the burden of this obstructive and hellish lie for over half a century. It is a burden we bear every day and night in blood and lost opportunities in a nation that was supposed to be equally ours but is not. Second, I hope The new revelations will help protect our children and their children from the visceral hate that has vested against the Igbo since this deadly lie of a quote and unquote Igbo coup was propagandized into a national truth, quote and unquote, that has haunted Igbo from generation to generation, such that all Igbo children born into this country came out wearing the unbreakable yoke of this Igbo coup around their necks, Yes, I have such children, and I suspect that they often wonder where, yeah, where their parents and ancestors went so wrong to bring such an undeserved, quote, generational curse of being born into a country that has seemingly drawn an invincible red line against it. And this, for what it is worth, Ndi Igbo deserve national contrition and political recompense from official Nigeria. They should include ceasing and desisting from the ongoing persecutions, fronted as prosecutions, of any Igbo that has risen or risen against the myriad anti-Igbo injustices that have characterized political, political Nigeria, such as the disparities we have seen in state creation, location of seaports, the national budget, power sharing, and basic infrastructure such as roads, rails, and so on. In the same vein, and again, for whatever it is worth, Ndi will also deserve deep felt personal atonement from the prime actors who concocted this lie of an Igbo coup and then dubiously turned around to use it as an anchor to launch a genocide. Yes, not a civil war that nearly succeeded in wiping out the Igbo race. If Biafra had not been declared, if they are not sure how to atone, they should be relief from Babangida. Hopefully, the contrition, recompense, and atonement, if sincere, may just be the magic tonic that could persuade Igbo to pedal back from the strong temptation of seeking an alternative to Nigeria. Quote and unquote. Yes, ladies and gentlemen, brothers and sisters, fellow Biafrans, these were the very powerful words, the very poignant words, the words that touched the minds of virtually every Nigerian, especially of Biafran extraction. Words that were enunciated fully, properly elaborated, and spoken by a legal luminary, a legal general, and the late counsel to our Muslim leader, Nnamdi Kanu. Yes, I'm talking of Chief Aloy Ejimako, barrister par excellence. Yeah, so, ladies and gentlemen, the truth of the matter is that a lot have happened to the Igbo man over the years. The Igbo man has suffered unduly. This has been the hallmark of the pursuit for the uh, redeclared sovereign United States of Biafra. Yes, a few weeks ago, if you recall, Mazimun leader Onyendu Nnamdi Kanu, said, look, publish. Yes, Mazimun leader Mazi Onyendu uh, Kanu had, asked his lawyers, to publish the full names of every coup plotter who was involved in the January 1966 coup. Oyendo Nnamdi Kanu said, publish their names. Let us see, and their states of origin and their regions. Let us see why they keep calling this an Igbo coup. And when the names were published, we discovered that barely 3 out of the so many were actually Igbo men. But of course, we have discovered today from this rendition, yes, that was duly captured, by IBB, Ibrahim Badamasi Babangida, the military president of Nigeria, who was, hale and hearted then, who was part and parcel of the military then, he has come out to say, look, the leader of that group, Major Kaduna NZEOGWU, was more Hausa than, more Aboki than Inyamiri, than an Igbo man. That in fact, Major Kaduna NZEOGWU ate Hausa, breathed Hausa, slept Hausa, and every aspect of his life, mannerism, everything about him was Hausa. And so that it really baffled him, it shocked him when this coup of 1960s was dubbed an Igbo coup. Yeah. I want to assure you, everybody, that because of this so-called 1966 coup that was eventually Christians, and described, baptized as an Igbo coup, the Biafrans, the Igbos, the Southeast were hunted like rabbits. The Southeast, the Biafrans were almost totally, you know, uh, totally, totally extinguished from, their fatherland, Nigeria. They were just from the north, brutally murdered, raped, their shops, you know, burnt, their compounds seized, their houses burnt. They lost everything from the north. Eventually, they had to scamper down to the southeast, for safety. But even then, running to their own state, running to their own region did not guarantee them, a right to life and property. Because even the so-called federal government then, led by General Yakubu Gowon, made sure that they chased them into their fatherland and committed more atrocity, committed almost total genocide against them. So, my dear brothers and sisters of the redeclared United States of Biafra, here you have it today. The truth is finally out. First of all, our Mazimon leader, Kanu, first of all, expressed it and said, this coup that they keep calling an Igbo coup, get me the names. List the name of the plotters, my lawyers, get the names of those involved in that coup. Let us see why they keep calling it an Igbo coup. And of course, when the names were published, we saw it was indeed never an Igbo coup. But instead, majority of the so-called coup plotters were from the north, were from the southwest. They were not Igbo. Ladies and gentlemen, let's peg it down here. But before I go, I want us to remember, yes, the Igbo man, all through history, especially since January 1966, have been treated with all manners of hatred, with all manners of wickedness, with pathological hatred, because of course they dubbed the 1966 school, they dubbed the 1966 misadventure, as an Igbo coup. Yes, meant, to favor the Igbo man. That's what they called it. But today we can see that the actual beneficiaries, or would have been beneficiaries, or would be beneficiaries of that coup, would have been the Southwest. Because in actual fact, the whole intention of, the coup was actually, yes, we must say, that hiding it, according to the revelations of IBB Ibrahim Badamasi Babangida, the true and actual beneficiaries of that 1966 Kaduna, Major Kaduna NZEOGWU coup would have been the Southwest, because the intention was to install Chief Obafemi AWOLOWO as the de facto president, provisional president of Nigeria. Take it or leave it. The truth has been spoken. Thank God we are hearing it in our generation. Thank God IBB did not die with this truth. Thank God. Thank God what they sought to hide all these years has finally been revealed. I'm sure, yes, I'm sure every one of them, every one of the, the, the liars, those who promoted this wicked, pathological hatred against Igbo by calling the 1966 January coup and Igbo coup, they would, if they have their chance, they would eliminate and silence Ibrahim Badamasi Babangida, the military president of Nigeria, one-time military president, for exposing this very, very, sacrilegious truth. Ladies and gentlemen, ponder on these things, think on these things, and begin to know that indeed, when Dim OJUKWU, our, patriarch, our Biafran warlord, said we should secede, declared, the state of Biafra, United States of Biafra, the sovereign state of Biafra. He didn't do it because of a selfish interest. He did it because he had to protect the lives and properties of a people who have been destined, people who have been, they were not only, chased to be hounded like criminals, they were not only chased to be killed like animals, there seemed to have been a deliberate plot to commit complete genocide against them. Ladies and gentlemen, please rally around our deputy, Prime Minister, Dr. Ngozi Orakwe, yes, who is leading the redeclared sovereign United States of Biafra out of this madness, out of this dungeon, out of this clueless, out of this wicked contraption called Nigeria. God bless you all. Thank you. God bless you all.
Yeah, check me out. Superstars Media. Lord Lugard, Bloomington, Lord Lugard, and it's wild Flora show. 1914 amalgamation is what we dying for. 3 nations to 1 nation, ever since annihilation. Nepotism is nonsense. You and you, clap your hands. Biafra gonna come, clap your hands. Biafra, Oduduwa, we're free now. Freedom is gonna come, we're free now. Yeah.